After the major success of Spider-Man No Way Home, we know that we are going to get a continuation of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU with Spider-Man 4 and most likely a completely brand new trilogy featuring this character. Now, of course, it's going to be a little different now, especially considering the end of No Way Home. It's going to be a fresh start for this character and for the whole franchise in general. So it's kind of been up in the air what's going to happen with this. It has been confirmed that it is happening. Sony has confirmed it. Kevin Feige has confirmed it. We're getting Spider-Man 4. We just don't know the details of it. We just don't know when it's coming. It is going to be wild. They're taking a little bit of a break. But we have an update now from Tom Rothman, the head chairman at Sony, who just revealed that he would love to see Tom Holland, Jon Watts, and Zendaya all return for Spider-Man 4, and that he hopes to begin working on the film soon. Now, that's a little weird that he wants all of them back, again, considering the end of No Way Home. So let's go ahead and talk about each of these individually and what I think is going to happen. So first of all, Tom Holland, bringing him back as Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man. This is 100% happening. The only thing is Tom Holland has said that he wants to take a break. You know, he's kind of been toying with us here these past couple months about like, oh, No Way Home might be my last time as Spider-Man. I'm totally cool with that. I don't know if I'm going to return. But he is 100% returning. But he has said that he wants to take a break. So it'll be a couple years before they even start filming this movie. So that Tom Holland can take a break from acting for a bit. Just, you know, take a nice Spider-Man vacation. And then come back for this new, fresh start to the trilogy. So this is 100% happening. But then we get to something like Zendaya. Is Zendaya coming back for this second trilogy? And again, that's something kind of up in the air. Because given No Way Home's ending, she doesn't even know who Peter Parker is. So, not many people, including myself, want her to come back because it would undo the ending of No Way Home with her coming back and then her and Peter just falling in love again. But I feel like they could do it in a way without ruining the ending of No Way Home. Because maybe in this universe, in the MCU, Zendaya's MJ really is Peter Parker's true love, and they are destined to be together. They're each other's endgame, if you will. And so maybe they can do it in a way where Zendaya is in this trilogy, and maybe they even end up going to the same college or something like that. And Peter keeps seeing her and stuff. And maybe they rebuild that relationship, and it's not until maybe the third movie where they fall in love again, and they they actually come back together, and he tells her about everything that happened, Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home, and maybe Peter even moves on to a different girl like Gwen Stacy or an actual Mary Jane Watson in this first or second movie of the trilogy, and then in that third one you can bring it back to Zendaya's MJ. So that's something I could see totally being a possibility here, but again, they're just gonna have to be careful with it if they do bring her back, and they do want to do that. It's just going to have to be really selective. But then what would be even more heartbreaking is if they do bring her back, but then they never get back together and he completely moves on, but she's still there in these movies. That would be so heartbreaking for us as fans. But then finally we have Jon Watts. Tom Holland has a big connection to Jon Watts because he and Jon Watts kind of came into this together. They were both fairly fresh to the Hollywood scene, especially this was both of their first big movies together. And so they've gone on a long journey through these first three movies, so it would make sense that they would want to continue working together for this next trilogy. But, you know, giving it being a new, fresh start for this character, it being the college trilogy for Tom Holland's Peter Parker, a lot of people, also including myself, want a fresh director. So you could get a completely different vibe to this franchise, and that's something I'd honestly like to see. And I don't know if Jon Watts would even want to come back, because I'm pretty sure he said that he doesn't want to, and especially given that he was going to direct the MCU Fantastic Four movie, but then he dropped out of that because he, quote, wants to take a break from superhero movies, even though he's going to direct a Star Wars series right now, apparently. So I don't really know exactly where that would sit. I would like to see him come back, but again, if you want that fresh start and that new feel, maybe we should get a different director. And I don't know if he even wants to, but Sony chairman Tom Rothman wants him to come back. So I guess we'll have to see about that. But the one thing I'm most confused about this, you know, he name dropped Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Jon Watts, but what about Jacob Batalon? I mean, Jacob Batalon was a huge part of this MCU Spider-Man franchise. He was Peter's best friend, and to not even get a mention here. Now, again, this is kind of the same situation with Zendaya's MJ, where he doesn't know who Peter Parker is. So I could see them doing it in a similar way of, like, by the end of the trilogy, they regain that friendship. Or maybe they actually do a big twist where, because he doesn't know who Peter Parker is, maybe he gains a hatred for Spider-Man and he ends up becoming Hobgoblin. That could be a way they explain that villainous transformation that we've all been wanting for years. That's something I could totally see happening here. And I do hope he comes back, but again, they could do something where Peter moves on. Maybe he gets a new best friend like Harry Osborn, and we kind of get to see the repercussions of that. So that's something I hope we do get to see these characters come back, but not, maybe become background / side characters. So they still have that presence, especially Peter Parker knowing that they're there and knowing that he had those pasts with those people, but them having no idea who he is. So guys, what do you think about this news that Tom Rothman wants Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Jon Watts to come back for the MCU Spider-Man 4? Do you think they're all going to return? Do you want Jon Watts back? Do you want a new director? And what do you think will happen with these returning characters and just in general in this next trilogy for Tom Holland's Spider-Man? So guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep it up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.